Hey everyone, my name is Mike. This is Dirty Cook Studio, and this is the end of Devtober Week 2. So today is a really exciting day because we are going to start bringing in some of Sean's art and we're going to start really making the scene come to life. What we're going to work on today is we are going to work on the ground. We're going to bring in some art. We're going to work on that a little bit, make sure it's all uniform and set. But we're also going to start instantiating different levels. We're going to start adding some AI logic, just a little bit, very, very light AI logic, just some if-else statements, a little bit of a switch statement, no big deal. We are also going to be bringing in spikes. It's really exciting. It's going to be a bit of a long one, but once it's set for the rest of the game, and it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm very excited if you haven't noticed, so let's jump on into it. Alright, so I've jumped into Photoshop, I have set up some of the art that Sean has gotten me, and I have imported it into Unity. So that's where we're at right now. We are going to start with just the green one. So when this ground instantiates, I don't want it to be this ground anymore. I'm looking for this green grass. So that is what we are looking for. So let's jump into it. So I'm sitting here with my box collider wondering why this isn't working. It's because we're in a 2D world using a 3D box collider. So let's get rid of that. Bring in box collider 2, run an override, and that should solve all the issues. There we go. Now, just as a small little side thing, we kind of want the player to be on the grass instead of above the grass. So what we're going to do there is we are going to take our box collider. We're just going to bring it down to like here. Throw that in override. There we go. Now we've got a player standing in the grass rather than standing above the grass. So this is amazing. We are all set. This really sets us up. Let's just look at this for a second because it looks like it is, okay, so it is overlapping. So normally this wouldn't be an issue. However, what I want is I want some of these to be empty so that the player falls through. So I don't want a half spot to be empty, I want a full spot to be empty. So we're gonna jump into our script, we are gonna change our spawn just a little bit so that there's no overlap. There we go, as easy as that. It looks like it was 0.3 off. It looks like it is exactly 0.3 off. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so that means as we start bringing in our next ones, we can start randomizing this. We can start adding some AI logic to it. We can start really, really making it robust and look very cool. So what we are going to do here is that instead of having just one prefab and then having a list of sprites that we can then change, I've already set up the separate prefabs. So we're just going to have a list of prefabs that spawn different prefabs based on the level or based on whatever design we want. All right, so if we've done this correctly, we are going to instantiate, instead of that boring white block that was coming through. We're going to instantiate all green blocks. And then after that first bit of green blocks is created, we're then going to randomize whatever comes next, be it empty, green, blue, or red. Let's just bump this up to 20 so that we get a really good look at it. Very, very cool. Now, something you might notice is that some of these are just huge gaps, and we cannot have that because the player won't be able to jump that. So we need to add some logic to this. So pretty much what we want to do is we want to return a block that isn't blank if the last block name is blank. Now, this isn't a perfect method because in the real case, we're going to have levels and we're going to want to check on the level because we don't want to return any block. We want to return a block within the level that we're working in. So, actually, let's add in levels. All right, let's add in levels. So the cool thing is that the iteration starts at 0, but we have a blank at 0, so the levels will match up. So we can just add just a level. So if the ground is blank, it will add a level ground. Otherwise, it will add either a level ground or a blank ground. This is also not perfect because this is going to return a number between 0 and 1, but we don't want a number between 0 and 1, we want a number 0 or level. So this is going to change, but let's just test it out. Let's just see what it looks like. Alright, so it didn't work because I wrote ground blank instead of ground empty, one of the struggles of working with strings. So let's give this another try. Oh, you know what? It's always going to return temp because that's the name of the game object. So I'm just going to run a debug to see what temp.name is, to see what's going on there. Not a perfect solution, but it works every time. The only thing I can think of going forward with that is setting tags. Ideally, we would set up an enum, but I mean, it looks like it's working perfectly fine though, so keep it the way it is for now. So let's go in and let's fix up this issue we're gonna have right here as soon as we start a new level. Alright, so pretty much what this is going to do is we're going to just have a little chance roll between 0 and 1. If it is less than 1, we'll return the level. If it's greater than 1, we'll return a blank. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then back to 1. Awesome. And we can add in so that it can't be every other. We can add in, we can change the chance. Right now it's a 50-50 that it's either a blank or not. But we can change that up. We can make it like a 25. It's going to be a 25% chance now. So much fewer of these 1 blocks. We can also make it so that it can't be a 1 block. It has to be more than 2. Pretty much the options are endless here. All right, so let's add in a spike. Very cool. So 1 over puts it about right there, which is really cool. So we can jump in here. We're actually just going to take this total ground. We don't really need to see it anymore. We've proven that it works. So we're just going to delete that serialized field. Alright, so let's step through this really quick. So, get the name of the last game object spawned. If it's empty, then spawn the level and do not spawn a spike. If it's not empty, give it a chance. If you can spawn a level and you're allowed to spawn a spike. If you can't, then spawn an empty one and no spike. Okay. And the reason this is upset with me is because it's a switch statement, so they're going to want breaks. Unlike a if statement, it won't loop out. And then this is going to be a void because we've changed the logic. So now, instead of doing the check if I should spawn and then spawn, we're going to do the check if I should spawn, then choose a block to spawn. So we're going to see if we can spawn. If we can spawn, we're going to choose a block to spawn. This is going to see if we can choose that block, and then we're going to call this spawn. It's going to spawn, and then if we can spawn a spike, then we'll do that, which is going to be a chance of 0 to 10. 0 to 9, because that's going to be a 10% chance. 0 to 4, because that's going to be a 25% chance, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, cool. Let's see what happens. We're still spawning everything, just no spikes. For some reason, it looks like the red blocks appear in front of the player. Alright, well let's just... Alright, cool. So that's solved. Let's jump in here and see what's going on. So let's take away this chance. Oh, I see what's going on. So we are spawning the large spikes, but they are not moving because we don't have them in the move ground, because they are not technically part of total ground. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to take this and we're going to actually create a prefab, and that'll be how we do it. So we're going to unpack this. All right, so I think the best case scenario that we can do right now is set our tags and then read off our tags. I think that's going to save us from having to read ground dash red dash spike parentheses clone. That's going to get crazy. So we're going to set these tags up and we're going to set this up. We're going to do a little preliminary and then I think we're going to call it for today. Very cool. So we are spawning empty spots. We are spawning spikes. We can change it. We have it got some randomness to it. You can always change it from there. But I think this is a good spot to end it for today. All right, well, that is going to the end of Devtober Week 2, Part 2. We only have 2 more weeks left. We really hope you guys check us out and you guys enjoy what we're doing, enjoy what we're putting out. We are gamers at heart, making games for other gamers, and we really enjoy all of the love and support we've gotten so far. We are a small independent studio. We plan to stay independent. Be sure to check us out at dirtycookstudio.com to find any and all of our social media links. Thank you so much. Don't go too far, and we will see you very soon.